They have not won 2 in a row since January 27th, and what has been interesting, not in a fun way, not in any way in a fun way, over the last few weeks is hearing people on the national broadcasts just go off on the Suns. Like, you might remember this from about 2 weeks ago. The Suns, in a game they actually won when they came back and beat the Clippers, but the first half was not great, and Stan Van Gundy was on the call, and he said this.
We just got to see a lot more defense from the Suns if they're going to make a move here. The door's opened up with injuries to Kyrie Irving, Domantas Sabonis. This is what we're talking about. This Suns defense is pathetic.
Okay, so that was a couple weeks ago.
That's really, really strong there.
One cut of probably about 8 from Stan Van
Absolutely.
in that game, too. Yeah.
And I love Stan Van Gundy. I really do. The whole Van Gundy family. I'm very fond of those guys for the most part. It's not like we sit around base learning to play cards every Wednesday night. We do not. But their philosophy, at least publicly, their philosophy, I really enjoy in regard to how you're supposed to go out and compete. And the fact that he actually used the word pathetic. And again, you know, in radio, Basinonians, in broadcasting, period, whether it's television, radio, whatever you might be doing, you got a podcast, you're filming, whatever it might be. It's not exactly what you say. It's how you say it so much of the time.
Generally.
That really matters.
And generally, yes, 100%.
And for him to say pathetic the way that he did, speaks volumes.
Generally, if you're hearing anything from the network, if you're doing like a national broadcast, the conversation is, hey, let's build both these teams up, right? Let's sell this game. And he was having none of it that day. Now, this takes us to yesterday. Suns, Lakers, a game that ended up looking closer late than it really was, especially in the first half. The first half was not great. And Stephen A. Smith happened to be on the halftime show. And yes, I understand Stephen A. Smith has had an axe to grind, it seems like, against Kevin Durant for 10 years. And Stephen A. Smith tends to be a little outspoken. But still, this is what he said yesterday.
I have seen teams where we have questioned leadership, but still saw effort. We're over there at the game. I mean, dudes, wide open shots from the Lakers. Nobody in the vicinity. And it's like literally... You have Mike Budenholzer calling timeouts going like this. Do you care? Do you want to play?
Okay, that was just the warm-up. Here's the real part.
Stephen A., you were over in Crypto.com Arena for the first half. What did you see?
An abomination. We aired this game on national television. This is our network. If there was not a second half to go where they had an opportunity to make amends, I would encourage us to give a public apology to a national audience for that atrocity we saw in the first half. No effort whatsoever, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. 2 for 18 shooting from three-point range, 11% from three-point range. The Phoenix Suns resembled a little kid that was placed on punishment by his parents and assigned to do chores. That's how they made playing the game of basketball look in the first half. Like it was this arduous, painful task that they had to subject themselves to. That's how bad they looked. It's disgraceful. It's disgraceful.
Don't miss words.
Oh,
Don't miss words, Stephen.
You want to talk about break out the flamethrower right there. That is brutal. You know, look, I've been talking about this for 2 years now, okay, off and on for 2 years. The team's collective soul is gone. It is. It's one of the reasons why Rick was playing collective soul, of course. Their soul is gone. They got players with soul. They have great players with a lot of soul. But their collective soul, they don't mesh. They don't come together as a good team. The question is why? Why is that the case? Because they don't know who they are, Luke. That is my answer to that. They don't know who they are. And why they don't know who they are is because they don't have leaders to model who they are on a regular basis. They don't have that guy, okay? Because they have some players that believe coach is our leader. Direct quote, coach is our leader. Ladies and gentlemen.
Which coach?
when you have professional athletes in particular playing a sports team and trying to play a team sport, you need guys who walk around and model what you believe you are, who you are, and how you do things. You have to have that. And if you don't have it, it looks like the 2024-2025 Phoenix Suns.
If you don't know who you are 68 games into the season, you're not. That in itself is an answer to who you are. You're a team that is not ever going to know who they are. Here's Bob Myers, Bob Myers, huge part of those Golden State Warriors titles. A guy that obviously knows KD well, has a good relationship with him. Doesn't necessarily go over the top the way Stephen A. Smith does sometimes, although I don't know that he really went over the top yesterday, Stephen A. Smith, with that first half. But this is Bob Myers at halftime.
So I was over there as well. One thing you can see, Malika, and Perk, you know this by playing, and Stephen A. was there too. When you're at a game, you can see the effort.
Yes.
You can feel it. It's different. And TV does a fantastic job of covering the games. Right. But when you're there, you can watch all the players. You can watch off-ball stuff.
Yes.
And to see Phoenix, it is like Steven says, it's almost like, guys, I mean, do you want to play?
Yes.
Do you want to compete? I don't understand. I'm flabbergasted.
That is, man, how honestly, how bad is that? If you're a Phoenix Sun, if you're a player, and that's what I think of the players right now, and you hear guys saying this about you and your team, what are you going to do about it? Why does that not drive you? I don't care. I don't care. You don't have to be a superstar. You don't have to be one of the best players in the world to go out and try hard. You don't. I don't care who you are. If you've been in the league and you hear people talking like this, first of all, you have to evaluate. Number one, is it the truth? Number two, ask yourself, why am I not internally giving everything that I have? Why am I not doing that? To where I externally have to be attacked to actually respond. Man, you need to check yourself, bro.
These are guys, too, Stan Van Gundy, Stephen A. Smith, Bob Myers. They're not the only ones. I didn't even play the Kendrick Perkins cut. We can play that later on. But these are guys that it's not like they've watched all 68 games this season and the frustrations boiling over. And these are guys that are not invested in the Suns winning at all. It's not like they benefit from this. These are guys that they've seen them a few times this season, but that's mostly based on like, wow, this was so bad that we have to react this way. I mean, Bob Myers sounded like he was almost at a loss for words. Like what? Because it is so frustrating of like, dude, just give the effort. Don't at least be known as the team that can't give the effort. And there's been times this season where we've seen them give the effort and they win all those games, it feels like.
But once again, for the record, this is what happens when you have players saying, coach is our leader.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.